Give me a D and a G. It's the Dawg and Gus Show. It's the Dawg and Gus Show.
Hey, Dawg, your beard's looking flickin' great, my man.
Thanks, Gus. I've been using the Bush Beard Wash.
The what now?
At Bush Beard, they know that every man with a beard is a unique beardo. And that's why they offer a wide range of products to cater to every beard's needs. Whether you have a long and luscious mane or prefer to keep it short and sharp, their products will help you achieve that perfect look.
From the nourishing beard oil and balm to the refreshing beard wash, their products are made with all-natural local ingredients to keep that beard healthy, soft, and lustrous. The beard comb and brush are designed to detangle and shape your beard, making sure you always look your best.
At Bush Beard, they're dedicated to providing the best possible grooming experience for all the beardos out there. So why settle for an average beard when you can have a glorious, well-groomed one? Try Bush Beard products today and unleash the full potential of your beard.
Be sure to use Dawg and Gus 10 and get 10% off your order.
Bush Beard, the small town brand with the big old Canadian heart. Welcome to the Dawg and Gus Show.
Soon to be on Be Kind Radio.
It's damn straight.
Yeah. What do we got going on today, bud?
We're going to talk with the man, the myth, the legend, JS Villeneuve.
Hey, JS, what's going on, man?
Hey, I'm not sure about that one, the man, the myth, the legend.
Well, take it as
I'm
it
far
is.
from Kyle here.
Hey, stop it.
Well, he's pretty legendary, too. I mean,
Who's that?
Kyle.
Which one?
Kyle.
Super Kyle.
Oh, because I know more than one Kyle.
Oh.
Yeah, but really, is there anyone
Yes, there
else
is.
that JS would be talking about that you know that his name Kyle?
Can we talk to JS, please?
So, JS, tell us about yourself, man. What got you into music as a young man?
Oh, man. I'd say Green Day was probably the first thing. In 94, I think I was I was 11. And I remember they released When I Come Around from the, I'm trying to catch in my breath here for some reason. They released When I Come Around in 94 from the, what
Dookie?
was that?
Dookie?
They played Woodstock. Yeah, it was Woodstock. So they had a video, and they were throwing mud, and there was this whole big thing. And I was like, there's such a thing as punk music, and this is good. And I was 11. I just remember Green Day was kind of my world at that time. And so that's kind of what got me into rock music. And yeah, I'd say Green Day, and then Offspring, and then I discovered this whole California punk scene that was flourishing. And so that's essentially what got me into music. I was in art school in high school, and so I was doing drawing and stuff, and I was playing hockey. I'm not that typical musician, I don't think. I don't fall into one little cliche or whatever you call those. So
Yeah. Clicky.
Yeah.
No, I remember that. And remember the lead singer put a piece of mud in his mouth and just went like this, and everybody went nuts at Woodstock. Yeah, I remember that. That was crazy. I wasn't a big Green Day fan, but I do like them. It's a weird thing. I don't know.
I liked their first couple albums. They were really good. Well, they were pretty poppy, but I was 11, right? So I wasn't into Sex Pistols and all those old school Dead Kennedys kind of thing yet, because I was too young. But it kind of got me into that, more socially political kind of punk and all that stuff. So
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, once you go down the rabbit hole, Green Day, this, and they kind of get into, like you said, the Dead Kennedys and what's his name,
I find even I'm a big fan of Blink, and I think they did so much for the punk scene. And a lot of people kind of tossed them aside when they went well, they've always been kind of mainstream, I think, but they kind of were tossed aside because they were sellouts or whatever. But I find there's so much more to it now when you think about it than selling out. So.
Yeah, but that's the punk mentality, right? They don't want to be, they want to do their music, but we don't want to do it for the man. We just want to do it. And they got popular, right? It was just they got popular, and it's oh my God, it's the worst thing for a punk band is to get popular.
I find today, punk is so different. It means it can be so much different. It can mean something different to everybody. It's more about the values, I think, behind it, or your core values and what you believe in. And I think if you look at Fat Mike, his punk mentality is completely different than the propagandy kind of punk mentality. I don't even know why we're going into this punk route. I'm assuming but you know, I'm liking it. But like,
Well,
yeah,
we're 4 minutes in. We're doing great so far. It's all good. Yeah. I like that you like bands with strong bassists. You know, like
Yes.
both those bands have very strong bass players for sure.
Interesting, right?
Weird.
Yes.
Weird, kind of
Yeah.
weird that
Yeah.
a bass
Am I
player
a
would
bass
like.
player?
Are you a bass player?
Yeah.
I've seen you play bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you break a bass.
I guess I fall into that category. You have
Do
seen
you?
me.
I have seen
Yeah,
you
we'll
break a bass.
break a
Yeah,
screw. It's
yeah.
kind of like, yeah.
It was- I
What
didn't.
do
I
you
saw it.
prefer? What do you prefer?
Oh no, I like bass. I like bass because it's kind of like you can. I'm. They call me the pogo in the band. Like, well, my past band too. So I'm kind of like all over the place. I jump around, and if you've seen pictures of me, I'm probably up in the air and
Mhm.
like 10 feet from the ground.
Yeah, we noticed
So,
that. Yeah.
so with the guitar, I feel like you wouldn't be able to do that. And like both guitar players in my band now are insane guitar players, and I could not even come close to what they do on guitar. So like I'd rather play bass and be able to jump around and have fun. So
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, you're fun. You're fun to watch. I remember when we were hosting that event that you played at. It was fun, and you were you were very grateful that evening. You were saying a lot of
Yes.
gratitude based things in the mic, right?
it was one of those events that kind of like I want to say marks you, but like scars maybe, or like, but not in a bad way, kind of like tattoos you, or like, you know,
Impacts on you.
it has like a big impact. And because I realized, for one, it was a shit ton of work, and like it was a lot of work to put in, the energy I had to put in, the return, but like a lot of people gave to me during that event, and like the volunteers, people that were helping out, just if it's like putting up fencing and and all those things, and like so many people reached out to help, and like to me that was like insane, gesture, because I wasn't expecting all that love, and I realized how much an event like that meant to the Ottawa area,
Mhm.
which wasn't, I know I didn't do it afterwards because it was a lot of work, but I realized that an event like that is probably needed in the area, and is something that eventually down the line, maybe, probably,
Kind of,
depending on the
sort of.
circumstances, that I wouldn't mind being involved in, or not necessarily want to redo it. Probably not the same way, but I think doing it like that event was full on all Canadian bands, full on Canadian sponsors, all the the food people that were there, all the any company or any business that was involved was completely from the area, and it was all local, and that's what I loved. I had French bands, I had English bands, I had a variety of things, and it was 100% Canadian, which to me was super important, and I think that it made a big difference, I think, for the overall event. So
Agreed.
It was an epic day, man. I loved it. It was so
Thank
much
you.
fun. Yeah, I got to be a doorman for the whole day.
I appreciate that. And you had the purple, I think.
Yeah,
You had the beard.
Yeah.
I was
looking
jealous of
intense
that.
and kicking people out. I kicked Lauren out, I think, 5 times.
He kept getting in though.
He kept finding his way back in. I don't know how he did it, but he managed.
Well, he does. He's
There was
sneaky and he's charming.
Yeah, there's a few.
It's a bad combo.
Yeah, there was a few people who were a little near the end were just a little sloppy. It was so much fun though. It was a good time. Yeah, I think like you said, you talked to me about it a little bit, about all the energy it took and how much it took out of you. I think if you did think about doing it again, I think you would have enough of a base. If you said, "Hey guys,
Yeah.
what do you think?" I think you'd have a lot of people saying, "I'm in. Tell me what to do."
Yeah.
And that's what.
And that's the thing, I think, with like events like that. A lot of people want to do one, but you kind of, it's the thing about like not necessarily like leadership, but you need somebody to kind of like be the one doing it. I
Mhm.
find like a lot of people want to get involved, but if nobody takes the lead on it, then it's hard to kind of like pull something like that off.
Mhm.
'Cause there's so much like little things, and you kind of have to be that person that kind of leads. But I agree with you, because I saw like a lot of people try to do it, and then they, it either just falls between the cracks or whatever, and like it never happens. But
Well, I don't think that they understand how much is involved.
yeah,
Like how much stuff that you did, like when I was talking to you about it and stuff, and like how much is involved in just putting together what you did. and then trying to let go of some of it so somebody else could take it for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is hard for some people because they want that all that control, but it's like, no, you can't do that. You can't be the one doing everything. You need to trust in some other people to do whatever. Like just delegate and say, okay, I trust you to do this part.
Yeah.
And then I can, there's part of my mind's relieved about that.
You have to be a good delegator, exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's
True.
the key. For leaders anyway, that's always a thing. And being able to be less of a control freak is hard to do if you are one, so it's like,
and especially it's like I found like for this too, like not that there was a lot riding on the line, but like I had some sponsors, I had people, I had like, and that kind of was like a stress on its own as well, that like I didn't know how it was going to turn out, like, and so you're doing something and then you could go like, you could get totally buried, and like
Yep.
I feel like so but it was fun, it was cool. I had the energy, I guess, at that time. I don't think like now I'm still trying to pick myself back up from it, and I'm learning from that too, like just as far as my band, like I don't know if you go back to Cynical Sons, I don't know, we had kind of fallout and things are still kind of they're on the ice. We I'd like to say that we have a few tracks that eventually we will release, but like the band itself will probably not get back together. But like I learned from that too, because that was the kind of band where again I was kind of doing everything, and so it was not very sustainable for me in the end. And I like all the guys, like they're all great musicians, great people, great friends, but I mean like overall, like I needed people that would kind of like be more involved or more supportive of the project. And so with This Disaster, which is my new band now, like we've started completely over. Even then, like Andre, the singer, is completely new. So it's all new guys. We've got Jordan, that like Jordan's funny story. He's, I used to go to the gym at Good Life on Queen Street, and he used to work there, and we'd talk about metal and stuff, and he was a musician. He had tried it out for Cynical Sons in the first couple of songs we had created, but he kind of like screwed something up in his arm and couldn't be playing guitar for like 6 months, and so we ended up getting Mart. And then fast forward 5 years from now, and then he's in This Disaster, and we're bandmates now. And then you got Damien and Guillaume Blondin, which was this drummer for Cynical Sons at the end, and Andre, and then me. And so
that's a good mix.
The chemistry is really good, and it's very it's everybody chips in and everybody does their part, and it's awesome because it's like a very healthy relationship between bandmates. And so if there's anything, like the communication is great too, like we tell it like it is or whatever if there's something we don't like, and I feel like right off the bat we started that way. And it's I've always said that a band is like being in a relationship without sex. So
well, depending on what band you're talking about, I guess
with 4 other dudes or 3 or whatever. But,
yeah. It's and you don't having that chemistry and having that common goal, there's no resentment, right? Like there's not to say that you're resentful for being the leader and having to do everything, but it does creep in a little bit because you feel like I'm doing all of this and you guys really aren't doing enough. You don't care enough, and I care a lot. So maybe the move was actually refreshing for you. I would say that you probably are more.
It was
more
unexpected.
refreshed.
It was unexpected. Yeah. I think in the end, it wasn't so much that like the resentment or anything. I think for me, it was more that like towards the end, I kind of went in like a little spiral, like kind of like burnout, depression kind of thing, and like. I needed the support from the guys at that time. Like I needed them to kind of pick me back up, because I felt like I've done a lot, and that I kind of needed that, and it didn't come. And I should have kind of like not necessarily expected it, but I needed that, that support from my crew, and I didn't get it. And I think that's kind of like what brought me a little, not necessarily more down, but kind of like killed me with it. And exactly.
Made you resentful.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
No. But it's tough though, like to go, like to be like, so like do this, and then nobody's reciprocating, and it's kind of like, okay, guys, really?
being on all the time and then
Yeah.
everybody's not on. You know, it's like it becomes dragging and just annoying. So,
But on the
I
bright
get it.
side, like you guys said, like I discovered guys from This Disaster, and man, it's great. We've got an album coming out that you guys you get the the exclusive because we didn't really announce it to anybody and stuff. So May 23rd, a new album.
You just announced it, bud.
I sent it to you guys earlier.
Yes,
too.
but I have it on my phone.
Yeah, he's not going to share it with me.
Friday we've got the song Fight Time. There you go. I'm still getting used to the
it'll
title.
be out this Friday.
Yeah, this Friday we got Fight Time coming out this Friday.
This one's coming out Monday, so you're good.
New tracks, completely different sound. We're going like emo, punk rock, metal. There's like all these places, some electro stuff, and like
Really?
there's a bonus track on there that we did with Danny Dion, Brown Dion, which was the old drummer.
Mm-hmm.
We had that one recorded too. And then he left for like personal reasons and stuff, so nothing to do with the band, more like health and stuff. So
I remember like when we had them on the show, This Disaster, and they were just a trio then, I believe.
Yeah.
With backing, they're using backing tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's nice to see them with a bass player and you know what I mean?
Full band.
Because
we're
that gives
on
you
full band now.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So it gives you all these other options, like you say, for the sound, right? Which I think is really cool. And
more input, like, and so a lot more artistry, right?
I find like the songs are next level now. Like Jordan does a lot of the musical writing, and he is a machine. Like it's just crazy, the riffs and like how the structures that he does with the songs and stuff. It's crazy, and I really like where this is going. And like I up my recording. I do all the recording, mixing, mastering stuff. I just finished a mentorship with J Moss, who's worked with Propaganda, Bane, State Champs, 4 Year Strong, and probably like a bunch of million other bands. His best friend, or he's friends with Brett Gurwitz from Bad Religion and stuff. And so essentially it was like a one-on-one mentorship with mixing, and it brought my mixing game to like this next level, which I'm pretty proud of. And like it'll probably show in the recordings and stuff, in the mixing. And I feel like I that's what I wanted to bring to the band as well, as like this quality recording sound. And so I think we've achieved it. So I'm a perfectionist. So I know there's probably going to want more, but I'm pretty happy and proud of this one.
Good.
So I find like every time I bring a recording out, I want to up my game, and so I think this will definitely reflect.
Nice.
That.
Cool.
So
well, you should never stop learning, right? Like it's always
Absolutely.
you should never settle. That's good enough. No, it can be better.
Yeah.
And
when not in a bad way. Like
I'm never going to start. I'm quite okay with being mediocre. Thank you very much.
Yeah. But like it's more than like, because I can be happy with something but still want to get better. So I can acknowledge that, like 2 years ago I did something, wow, is great. But like I want to, do better. But I'm still proud of what I've done. Like I'll never go back and be like, oh, that was crap. Like why did I release that? Or But,
well, every experience probably brought you to now, right? So
exactly.
that's the key.
And like
growing is learning from everything and adding new stuff.
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
We're the same way. If we look back on the first couple episodes of this podcast, we were kind of like, ooh,
it was awkward.
Wow,
awkward, but it was just like
you grow and you learn, and like I'm just it's always about growth and like where you not necessarily where you see yourself, but like I feel like a lot of people are good for complaining or be like, oh, this is not good or whatever, but like once you see the growth and stuff, I think that's where the magic happens. It's believing in yourself too, and I think that's the whole goal. Is not letting somebody else kind of dictate where you want to be later on, or like where you want it to go, or your happiness in general, I guess.
Exactly.
If the podcast makes you happy, and so why it's fine. That's what you want, right? So.
Yeah, some days.
Yeah. Oh, I know, but yeah, I agree. I totally get your comment. Some days, yeah. I feel like I'm a roller coaster lately too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dog's just digging me. That's all. Just giving me a shot. Like whatever. We do it to each other. So that's part of the charm of this podcast is we shit on each other once.
We have charm.
Well, I do. I certainly do. But,
Well, you're charming.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
What or who inspires you?
Oh, That's man, that's a big question. I think I'm not somebody that is kind of like starstruck or that kind of like, I feel like everybody, like you can learn from everybody. And like, I'm not old. I'm going to be 42, but I'm not young either. But I mean, um, I like in my work experience stuff, like sometimes, I was 18 years as a sound engineer for CBC radio, outside broadcasting stuff. And I would have somebody come in, like a young guy, and you train someone. And I feel like, yeah, I've got a lot of experience and they can learn from me for sure. But I find somebody young with like, you know, not necessarily any experience with like um, a bright mind and kind of like a fresh mind can you can learn so much from somebody like that. Like, and so I'm not being starstruck to me doesn't happen because I find like you'll always be, kind of deceived or not deceived, but like, let down by if you look up to somebody too much. But there's a lot of people that have influenced me or that like influenced me positively. I'd say recently, probably Jay Mass. I'm seeing him and like his workflow, his work method, and how he runs his business and all that. I like that. I've always been a fan of John Feldman as well, a singer for Goldfinger, which is a big producer out of Hollywood. He's produced like The Used, Story of the Year. I think he's worked with Pink and like Ashley Simpson, shit like that.
Wow.
And so I've never met him. I'm gonna get to meet him this summer because we're playing a festival in Granby, Quebec. So Festival au Lac. We're playing June 6th, but Goldfinger's there on the 5th, and so I'm gonna get to meet him. And so yeah, I'm just wondering. Like I said, like I'm not somebody to be starstruck, but like I've never met the person, but you kind of like have this idea of who he is, and so I'm finally gonna meet him, and so it's gonna be kind of weird because is it how's that meeting gonna go? How is this person gonna be, or
Yeah.
So
no, I get it totally. Yeah, you have a premonition of how they're going to be, and then hopefully,
and you're hoping that it becomes close.
Probably a cool guy. Probably
gonna I agree. I agree with you. And then there's like we're playing with like 4 Years Strong playing directly after us. There's Silverstein, Atreyu, and Under Oath, and they're all like bands that I listened to like in the early 2000s and stuff. So it'll be crazy to be like sharing the stage with those guys and like meeting up and just probably having a beer or two with them.
There you go. Right. It's funny you mentioned Goldfinger because I was doing these. I set up things on Facebook for people to send me songs, so I could make some mixes for the radio station.
Yeah.
And Lauren from Winter sent me Goldfinger, a tune. They redo 99 Red Balloons, Nana from the 80s.
Yep.
It's actually a pretty good version. So it's kind of funny.
Balloon.
They also do a German version. They released they released a different version from like a redo. Avril Lavigne sings on that album too, or something.
Yeah,
some
it was just kind of like Goldfinger. Where have I heard that? I was like, oh, it's right here.
Yeah, well, from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 or 2 or whatever.
There you go.
Video game. They had the Superman. So
that's right.
Nice.
I played the first one. I was always like, because Rage Against the Machine was on it. I was like, those were the days.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I had more time. What song from the current album that you're releasing is your personal favorite, and why?
Oh man,
hard hitting, baby.
They're telling the guys every song that we record or new one that I start mixing is my new favorite one. So like right now, like as of today, I just finished Fight Time, and I love it because it's got like a punk rock energy, but it still has some metal riffs and some very emo parts to it. There's Fight Time. I really like Deadweight. Deadweight is this very poppy, pop punk emo kind of thing, kind of like Story of the Year-ish, really like early 2000s. I did the music for it essentially, and it was a song that I had like pre Cynical Sons. I was in another band that was kind of like pop punk, and so this song like never fit with like Cynical Sons, and then I made it. The guys agreed that it would fit, and it was kind of like a little radio hit pop punk. So I do like it because like all the music and like the instrumentation, synths, all that like I've worked on. But I like Blindfold too. So Blindfold is very electronic. You'll listen to it, you won't tell, but I'd say there's probably like 120 tracks on there, and like a lot of synths and a lot of violins and a lot of very electronic parts that you can't tell. Like it's very I don't know. I guess when you guys listen to it, let me know after. And same with like the listeners.
Oh,
Just let me
yes,
know,
of course.
in the comments or whatever. If you listen to the blindfold track, tell me what you think. But it's this that one took a long time to mix because it was like you had to get like the sounds and the synths like down like to a T, like super right. So it was very not complicated. It was a fun challenge. So if I'm looking at it as a challenge standpoint, I'd say blindfolds. If you're looking at it like raw energy, I'd say Fight Time. And if you're looking at it for like a catchy pop punk kind of summer vibe, I'd say Dead Weight. But Gravity's awesome. And yeah, so
It's a
they're all
pretty,
I
pretty
like them.
diplomatic
I'm
answer.
actually really proud of the 4 songs. And like we've got so many tracks that are going to be coming out too. Like we just wanted to get this down for to release like a vinyl on vinyl for the festival that we're doing this summer. So yeah, we're going to have about 100 pressed and 25. I'm looking to get 25 limited editions, like colored versions or whatever.
Ooh.
So, haven't confirmed 100% yet what's that's gonna look like, but that's the
cool.
objective.
You
But
had
it'll
us at
probably-
vinyl.
Yeah, vinyl. I love vinyl. I'm a
Limited.
big fan. I like the
Limited.
having it in your hands and like
Yes.
there's this thing about like artwork and all that stuff.
Yeah, we 100% agree. So
Yeah.
we're right there. And vinyl is
I
our.
haven't bought a vinyl in a while.
I just got a couple at the last show I was at, or second last show.
Nice.
I got the new Silverstein album.
Nice.
It's really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Big fan of them.
Yeah. I haven't listened to I don't get to listen to them as much as I'd like to, but I did
They're
find
like-
this. I found this
They're
really
one of those
cool thing.
underrated bands. Like they're they've got a good status. I'm not saying like they're not popular or anything, but like I find like they should be a lot bigger than they are. Like the music that they write in the last couple albums they've had have been like super epic in my opinion. And like I find like there's one of those bands that kind of like fall through the radar kind of all the time, but they're always there and always good, but they're never like they never get that status that they should have in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they're Canadian too, so
Yeah, of course. Love that.
Yeah, we do. So vinyl, I'm very excited. So when you're mixing up JS, do you have in the back of your mind how are we going to do this live?
No, that's always secondary to me. Like I always think that we'll be able to do it. We'll figure it out. And like the ghost tracks thing, a lot of bands do it now. And so like to me that doesn't bother me if there's like electronic parts or stuff. Like we play to a click track live.
Yep.
So our drummer's got a click track, and well, our drummer, everybody's got a click track except me because I'm old school and I like to have a monitor and feel the crowd. But eventually maybe I'll convert and have in ears when I'm kind of probably borderline deaf. But but like with the click track you can get anything going. So like electronic tracks and stuff, you don't necessarily have to have a DJ or whatever. So so I find like we can always get away with having those. So worst case scenario, but yeah, cool. I'd rather serve the song when mixing first, and then try to figure out what we'll do live afterwards. And so yeah.
Would it be safe to say that like not every time you do it live it's the same? Like you'd like to replicate what you've done, but sometimes it'll just change a little bit. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, no. I think it'll sound different than the album, but live it'll always be the same. So it'll always be different than the album probably, but it'll be the same way live unless we're doing it acoustic or whatever.
Yeah.
But like we try to make sure that what we produce live is what we every show is kind of like the quality standards the same. So
that's good. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
What color vinyl?
That's why
I'm all hooked on the vinyl.
I want to do the multicolored.
Nice.
I want to do one of those flats kind of things.
Yes.
And like I remember like with Cynical Sons when we had our vinyls done, I approached a couple companies and stuff, and essentially like what those are just leftover like plastic balls or whatever, and they just like so you can kind of sort of pick the colors and choose, and they tend to cost less because they're just leftovers.
Yeah.
But like I find like those are the coolest ones because they're completely none of them are the same. So
that makes it unique for each one, right? I picked up one from Brass Camel. They're a band out of Vancouver, and they were just at the Rainbow a couple weeks ago, and it was gold. It's gold, like it's a nice. Gold album, and they're very 70-ish rock. You'd like them a lot.
Oh, nice.
But they were so much fun to watch live. My God,
Gold record.
Gold, yeah.
That's hilarious. Like a gold record. That's
Yeah,
kind
well,
of
I
like.
have-
I feel like that's like we're not arrogant, but it's kind of like we've got a gold record.
We got a
Like,
gold record, baby.
but it's not a real gold record. It's a
No.
gold.
Yeah,
record.
they're BC band, right? They kinda-
Yeah,
No,
you
but
know.
it's cool. I like the idea.
Yeah.
They don't have to shovel snow or anything. Like that.
Yeah, like totally.
We're golden.
They don't have sun either.
No,
Yeah, true.
it's mostly rain and
That's right.
cloudiness and
Very true.
despair. And go ahead.
I like to ask this question quite often. So if you guys, now that you got some momentum and things are going your way, so perfect scenario in 5 years from now, where's the band?
We rule the world. No, I'm kidding.
Good answer.
Pinky and the Brain.
Yes.
That-
No.
that's a good answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. But realistically, like a band like us, like I find like it's kind of like a festival thing. I'm not too like I'd want to be as big as Blink. I'd want to do arena shows. Is it realistic? I don't know. Like we're all getting older. We all have families and stuff. We are pushing, right? So I don't know. I feel like it's like let's say I die tomorrow. There's this unfinished business to me, which is succeeding, or I don't know what success is anymore in music, but I'd want to do some festivals, some more festivals, some tours. I know we were approached to do a tour in Brazil and do a couple festivals, and then pre-pandemic with Cynical Sons, we were supposed to do this little tour of Europe, and that's always been something cool. But I don't want to. It's like I want to do it, but properly, and not necessarily be like in a van and like make like lose money and then like be like pissed afterwards. If I want to do it, like I want to be able to bring like my family, the kids, and kind of like have it be a tour or like a vacation that we have to play. We play occasional shows, and and it'll be fun, and the kids can bring come along, and all the other bandmates' kids can come along. So I kind of want to see it like that. But that'd be my objective is kind of like be able to tour with it, but like make it fun and not be 5 guys in a van that miss home. And that
Yeah, that makes sense. I get all that. That makes perfect sense.
The long term kind of thing, which is hard to believe, but I'm an optimistic, visionary person. So I'm hoping that it pans out.
Yeah,
Brazil would be cool
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be awesome.
because they get
sunny and like
go down to
pretty.
Rio,
Yeah.
and play a festival down there. That'd be terrible. 100,000 people.
Yeah. There's a few.
I think
people
big
there,
too.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
Well, South America's got a big
Yes.
punk rock metal scene. So
they
like,
do. Yeah, and so does Europe.
yeah.
You guys would do well in either.
It's me. I think meeting the right people, and so to me right now, the industry is kind of in a weird limbo where like labels aren't doing much for bands, but if you meet the right people and like you can kind of pierce through, and so I think that's my objective, and I think the festival this summer is one of those door openers for us where we're gonna get to meet bands that have pierced and that have made it through, and that like
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, makes
I'm
sense.
someone that likes to talk to people too, so I'm not a very shy person. I talk a lot, and so when I get to meet these people, I'm gonna talk to them and like ask a lot of questions because I'm
Right.
interested and I want to be able to achieve that status.
Yeah. No,
Fair enough.
You're extroverted.
Yes, in my introvertedness. Because
Are you
I also
both?
I like to be in front of my computer and like close the door and nobody's talking to me and like just my little bubble.
That's fair.
I like that a lot.
Quiet
When I
time.
was saying I'm not one of like the stereotypes, I don't fall into like one category. Like I've got like a weird brain where you can kind of like zone in and zoom out and like be like a very not weird, but like in my little world bubble, and then I can completely zoom out and be the complete opposite. So
That doesn't sound weird to me.
yeah,
No,
my
it
girlfriend.
sounds like you.
Yeah, my girlfriend says like there's no gray zone with me. It's like black or white. Like it's
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
there's no in between. It's like one or the other. And it's like And I'd like to be more in a gray zone because, you know, the highs are high, but the lows are fucking low. And so it's just this roller coaster. And as I get older, I'm hoping that the roller coaster kind of like just slows down a little bit. But, you know, I don't know.
It ain't
It's
happening
probably not
soon,
in
buddy.
me.
I'm a couple of years older than you, and trust me, it stays for a bit. Just stays for a bit.
What do you guys want to know about getting older?
Well, you're introverted, so you don't. It doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't count for me.
No.
I got it.
It's a different thing for you. You like to be with your vinyl, your music. You like to be surrounded by your music in your house and quiet but not quiet.
And get off my damn lawn.
Yeah.
You don't have a lawn.
I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of like that. Well, less now, but I care about my lawn. You know, it's important as
Get
you
off
get
my
older.
lawn, punks.
But yeah.
I care about my lawn.
If you want, I don't know if you've seen that movie. It's available on YouTube or whatever, but it's called The Other F Word, and essentially it's fatherhood. And so it's about all these fucking punk bands that grew up in like the 90s and stuff, and that end up being dads, and that they were kind of expecting to die or like, you know, whatever, not like
27
actually,
Club.
now they're like part of society. And essentially it follows the singer for Pennywise mostly. But like, got like Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, you got Fat Mike, you got like Blink 182, and like all these like big name people, but that are all like dads now. And it's very funny to watch because none of them kind of expected to be so part of like society. And I think like as like getting older, to me, punk rock too is like not necessarily changing it from the inside, but having like an influence on the people around you. And so in your community, like it's fun. My girlfriend told me this. Yeah, we're not married, but I call her my girlfriend still. We're kind of married anyway.
Same with
me. When there was Trump, when that whole Trump thing happened and stuff, is it's out of our, we can't really do anything about it, right? So it's kind of like out of our reach. It's not something that we can do something about. And she always told me, like, the only thing you have an influence on is the people around you and your neighbors in your neighborhood. And if you have a good influence on those people and you take care of those people, then that grows, right? And so that really, really made an impression on me in the sense that, like, it's true, because we can let somebody like Trump kind of like be negative on us or like have an influence on how we're going to feel. And I like in the end, like, we're letting something that's out of our control our emotions, right? And so so when you think about it that way, like, it makes a lot of sense. And like,
she's got good perspective. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And she's right. I mean, if you can take care of your neighbor and yourself and your family, and that's the world would be a better place.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Like it's
used to be like that long time ago. But
and I'm not saying like globalization is bad. It's good for a lot of things. But I think in general, if the influence that we have on globalization is pretty small.
It's minimal. Yeah.
So when you think about like the actual impact that you have is on your community. So
it's profound. I love that.
Yep. Smart guy.
Smart lady.
Smart guy, smart lady.
She's smart too, bro.
Yeah.
But she brought that up, and you agreed, and makes total sense to me. I mean, I'm totally down with that. I live in the country, so everybody takes care of themselves. No, I'm just kidding. We take care of everybody. People show up with like cabbage and stuff like that. I'd like to just leave it at your front door.
Yeah. We went to, before we had kids, we ended up going to southern France, and it's mostly like little villages.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that like it's all like self-sufficient, and they've got like these little markets. So everybody participates, and like I don't think we're there yet, or I don't know how it would work in Ottawa or Gatineau or whatever, but I like that everybody kind of helps each other out, and just that local aspect to me is really strong there, and like everybody knows everybody, and
for generations. That's very true.
I was going to break out into the Cheers tune there.
Yeah.
Everybody knows your name. I'm not going to do it. Stop.
You should though. You should.
No, I should not. I know my role. I don't sing. So, JS, do you think that's the same kind of mentality to take with the music in this city? And
yeah, it's always been part of my I've always said. I'm just gonna bring my pants back down. They were kind of like wedging up.
Your voice was going up. Yeah.
as much as I can be, you know, not smart but sound smart, I can be pretty dumb too sometimes. Anyway, that's not the whole point. What I was going to say is, yes, I find like if you look at the scenes that kind of pierced on their own without like the mainstream media pushing it or kind of like shoving it down our throats. I'm thinking about like the California punk scene, the Seattle grunge scene, and those scenes. How they worked is there was a community. People helped each other out. The bands knew each other. They were using the same engineers, and they kind of grew together. So it's kind of like a big family, and I think that's the way the music industry works is you create something, let's say the Ottawa scene, which I find is really good. There's a lot of great bands here, like crazy amounts of great bands, great musicians, great engineers. And so when you grow together, you make it so that the mainstream doesn't have a choice to listen to what you do because the energy and the community is so strong that they can't turn their eye on it because Montreal is kind of that.
Mhm.
That's why Montreal scene works because it's like one big community, and yeah,
It's
it's not
it's
necessarily
funny.
as big, but like I find like when you think about it in that
Could be
aspect,
eventually. You never know.
Yeah.
Like because it was
But-
like the grunge scene and the like those scenes were small to begin with, and then
exactly
blew
and
up.
then like the mainstream media didn't have a choice but to
Mhm.
pay attention to it because it's like, and I find like rock music is kind of that genre right now that has been kind of tossed aside. But when you think about it, like who goes to see shows? People that listen to rock music. Like
Yeah.
you go to any other type of shows other than like Taylor Swift. I'm not, I don't mean that, but like I mean like half the musicians that have millions of views on Spotify, they'll play a show here. You probably don't even know the name of the artist, and like nobody will show up. But they've got a million plays, and everybody knows their song. But people are going to show up to go see a rock show, and to me, that means a lot more than having a million plays because it means that people actually care and actually know the music. Like in the '90s, you had Korn. You had System of a Down. You had I don't know, Nine Inch Nails. You also had
Like
friggin'
Biscuit.
yeah, but like who else was playing like the dance music and stuff? Like you had Puff Daddy on the radio. Maybe I shouldn't say Puff Daddy. I'm sorry. I take that back.
Eee.
But no,
This show
I
brought
mean
to you
like
by Johnson
yeah,
Johnson Baby Oil.
Oh,
no, but
stop
like
it.
you had hip hop, you had dance, you had electro music, you
Oh
had
yeah.
rock music, yeah, and the top 30 had all those artists. And now you listen to radio and it's all the same crap. Like, well, not necessarily crap, but it's all the same thing. And I find like it just sounds the same, which is okay because it probably works for whatever reason they do. But I find it's not reflective of what people are actually listening to or the percentage of what people are actually listening to. And like a lot more people listen to rock than radio would let you think, I think.
I
But,
agree.
yeah.
I agree. And I think that going back on that what you said though, do you find the Ottawa scene is like that Seattle grunge scene?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
I
someone else
like
has
the
said
Ottawa
this from
scene.
Marble Ghost. They said the same thing.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He said it reminds him a lot of what Seattle was doing before Seattle blew up. And I was
Yeah.
like, that would be super cool. I mean, if it was all of a sudden the Ottawa scene is worldwide, but yeah, it would be cool, I think, to
Like,
see all you guys blow up, but it would be
I look
interesting.
at bands like Civilian, which like
They're so good. They're
yeah,
so good.
I love those guys. And like we
Yeah.
played our first show with Cynical Sons with them. It was like a fundraiser we did for cancer. And like me and Parms are good friends now, and like all the whole crew, they're all nice guys. But Parms is like a really good engineer too, like musician and all that stuff. And like we kind of help each other out. And like the guys from Taming Sorry, same thing, man. Those guys are so freaking cool. Like so like I can name a million bands, but like Arson, friends from way back, not like I'm gonna skip or forget people, but like the scene here, like I find like it's all about being positive with each other, and like we're the guys from Rocket Engine too, like those guys are freaking awesome. And like it's all about being positive together and not necessarily being envious or jealous of what people are releasing, and be happy because like if one of the bands makes it, the whole scene gets seen, right? So like Rocket Engine, gets a big hit, then we're all gonna kind of like grow with them, right? So I don't see it as like I'm jealous. I'm seeing like I'm proud of them, and they work their ass off. Like any bands that actually makes it, I'm sure they work really freaking hard and deserve it. So No, like I that's the mentality that you have to have, and I think most people in the Ottawa scene that I've met and that I talk to, maybe it's because I don't meet or don't want to talk to the negative people, but like I haven't really seen anybody kind of bash, So
yeah. Well, we've said it a few times. We're waiting for somebody to smash the ceiling here in this city and go, hey, those guys are from Ottawa. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
And then like you said, it's the trickle down effect, right? Like, oh, these guys are from Ottawa, and these guys are from Ottawa, and these guys, like the bands that you mentioned are amazing bands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you guys, and like all those other bands and stuff. And we've got so much like in the punk, in the rock, in the country, in the folk. We've got everything in this city, and we've got amazing talent.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, and like any genre. I'm a big fan of like a lot of different musics. Like I grew up with the punk and the metal and all that stuff, but like I love my jazz. I love my folk music. So like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to be like at a folk show or whatever. But any band that makes it, I'd be proud that's from the area.
Yeah.
So.
Sierra Levesque. Have you heard of her?
From Montreal?
I have not, but
she's not from Montreal. She's from Pembroke.
Oh, Pembroke. That's right. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, funny story. I think you guys probably know, but like my first band ever. You guys are in Almont, right?
No, Manotick.
Manotick? Oh, okay. But like my first band was from Almont, and like I used to go there. It's called Avenger, as a ska band. But we play Manotick a lot with the delegates. You probably like know Menno and all that.
Yeah. Dog lives downtown, but I'm in this area. Yeah.
But like we played with the band called Sub, which was from Montreal. They had like that one hit, LA Beach Bum, back in the day.
Yeah.
And, like, we played with them in Manotick at the Legion.
Of
like,
course.
We played a few times.
No, not much else to play here. I mean, there's the Legion,
awesome.
and then
I find
a
like
couple
those
coffee
shows,
shops.
like people come out in like those small towns and stuff. Like that's the place that bands tend to skip, but they don't realize what they're missing out on when you're skipping those little towns.
Yeah.
You get people that actually care and show up, and like they want to see your band.
Yeah, they want something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. So go Sierra Levesque. I mean, you got to look her up, but she's this like virtuoso guitarist, musician. We've had her on the show. She's like a firecracker. She's like really young and just full of energy. She's played like the Riot House, and like she sent us a photo. Like there was a photo of her with Dave Grohl.
Yeah, she's down in LA.
Like, what the fuck?
She's down in LA right now.
Yeah, she's crushing it. She's gonna be. She'll be something that we'll definitely see down the line, because she's still so young and just so talented and hungry. It's really great to watch.
That's one thing I'm not ready to do though, is move out of my city. Like as much as I was probably born in like my home away from home is San Diego. I'm there like twice a year. I love that city so much. But
you surf?
One, it's not affordable. And what?
Do you surf?
No, I've tried a few times. I have a bad back, so it's kind of hard to pop up on a surfboard. I skateboard, but like I think it's just the weather down there.
Yeah,
but
27
like,
every day.
I'm not one to kind of move. Like I grew up in Ottawa, and like it's my little comfort zone here, and so I'll always have my place here. So like to move out for music, I think to me, like I wouldn't mind going, traveling for music, but like moving out, or like trying to go to another city. I feel like it's something you can actually do from home.
Yeah,
you can make it from here.
She's 20 years younger than us.
Yeah, exactly.
40 years.
I probably like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I probably would have done it, but like now, like I'm not moving.
Yeah,
she's
I'm old
25 years younger.
I'm happy with being here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. No, I get it. It's just it's interesting
because I hate it. Not the band. I love them.
Gotta
they're good guys. They're awesome.
Except for Ryan.
Those are great guys.
Yeah, everybody but Ryan is fine in that band.
No, Ryan's awesome. I love Ryan.
I know, me too. We have this like ongoing like
love hate.
Yeah, like it's a weird thing. It's a fake thing, but it's like it's like the Jimmy Kimmel with Matt Damon sort of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we should do some reels with that. Or like,
we should. Yeah,
you really should. You really should.
Except he wouldn't let me talk. He just likes to talk the whole.
He doesn't let anybody talk.
That's what I mean.
That could be the whole thing where you just like you get cut.
That's good. Hey, that's a good idea. I'll ask him. He'll be down with it.
Oh, he's certainly.
I get some. I get to be on.
You get to be on the show again.
Yeah, I don't want. He's not coming on the show again. That's not a thing.
His ears are probably ringing right now.
They're burning.
He's calling in actually.
Yeah. Oh, we have a request on the.
Yeah. Just want to see if you guys are recording tonight.
Yeah. Are you guys doing your show?
Fuck off, bro.
Actually, we're
downstairs.
talking about you.
Yeah. It's funny. Weird.
Hey, JS,
Yeah.
let's do a little promo for the Smoke Shack. Talk about that for me.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, those are. It's funny because they're friends of mine. Tyler, one of the owners, Tyler Adam. And so when at the festival,
my wife knows him really well, by the way. Just so you know. Yeah.
It's funny. He knows a lot of people, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But he used to be downtown. They used to be on York Street in Ottawa, and then they blended with Beyond the Pale, and so they were sponsors for my festival. And then my daughter, my youngest, goes to school with his daughter, so they live nearby. And then he remembered the marketing job that I did for them for the festival and all that stuff. And so when they moved to Gatineau, so they're at 73 Boulevard de la Gap now in Gatineau. So check it out. They've got a brand new menu, traditional ribs and all that stuff, which is awesome. Brisket is great. And so essentially they moved there, and Tyler asked me if I wanted to do take care of like all their social media and marketing and stuff. And I never actually done it as like a job or, like officially kind of thing, but it's something that I thought I could be able to pull off. And I think I'm doing some cool reels with them and some cool marketing stuff. And, it's getting my creative side going, which is fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're great guys. They got great food and, great people, it's a local restaurant, right? So support that stuff. And
Exactly.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
They're great people. And,
yeah, he's a great guy. I've met him. Well, we've hung out many times, but Megan, my partner, worked at Smoke Shack when it was on York Street, and then that was because her and I we met at Old Dubliner when we worked there together, and anyways, it was just it's a small community in the bar business anyway. But that's really cool that you're getting your chops in doing that too. So that's cool.
And then they decided to move to Gatineau too, which is a pretty big move, and doing that like the whole. Rebranching and relearning in French and all that stuff, because they do speak like they're Tyler is bilingual, but I mean like the branding and all that stuff is a whole different game on the Quebec side. So
you have to do both.
Props to them for taking the jump and doing that. So
it's tough on the Quebec side because Perkins tried it when I worked there.
Yeah,
they had 5 years to get 5 stores up, so they had the one on Saint Laurent, which is still there. And then they're like, let's go to Gatineau. And I'm like, don't.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's a tough market to get into with an American restaurant. I said, go to like Baseline and where the College Square is now.
Yeah.
I said, go build
City West.
Yeah, go build out there. And it'll be huge. You're right beside Algonquin College, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They go, no, we're going to Gatineau. The store lasted a year before they closed it.
Tough in there.
Yeah. So I kudos to them.
Gatineau's a weird place. I live there, but like it's when it comes to restaurants and food, they're chain restaurants. And maybe I'm gonna get grilled for saying that, but like I find like if you want good restaurants, you go to Ottawa. You don't go to Gatineau. There's exceptions, I mean, but like I find it hard, and so that's why like when I see a restaurant like that wants to make it through, and like I'm 100% full support, because we need places like that. We need local restaurants.
The Shack to Smoke.
We do.
And that smells so good.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. When when that smoker goes off, I'm like, I wish I could, put on the internet the smell, the ribs roasting.
Smell this.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great for marketing?
It'd be cool. Yeah, we're coming out of the box here. He's gonna have some ideas when he leaves. I have two remaining questions, and both of them are pretty whimsical. So the first one is
one word.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
2 words.
Looks like
so you just robbed a bank, okay, and you're getting into the getaway car. What song is playing on the radio?
What song?
Or on the Spotify, or on the CD, or on the tape?
Like a getaway song.
Yes,
is what you mean. Oh man, I'd probably say I'd go with The Wild, Party Till You're Dead.
Nice.
I'd probably go with that one because it's got that hillbilly kind of vibe. If you look at that video, they got like they're partying.
Write that down.
I'm writing it down.
They're from Vancouver too.
Cool.
And I tried to get them for my festival. I had them lined up, and then they doubled up the price last minute. And I'm just like, screw you guys. I'm still pushing them. They're Canadian. They're good. But yeah, that's probably my getaway. Is it my favorite song? No, but a getaway song. I think
that's
that
the
would
question.
Be,
so
like,
that
cranked up in the car, right? Like in an old like red Chevy kind of thing, like
There you
beat
go.
up truck
Dog.
or whatever.
Dog,
Yeah.
you got a new one this week?
I do. Sabotage.
Nice.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Fight fire with fire, Metallica.
Yeah. Oh, that's
going
cool
with-
too.
I'm going with that.
All right.
I'd probably say like if you want one of my song or our songs,
Yes.
I'd say Fight Time. I'd
Fight
go with
time.
Fight Time.
Yeah.
It's got that energy.
Yeah.
So that with the one that's releasing Friday, it's pretty fast and like I'd say Fight Time
Sweet.
for one of our songs. Yeah.
All right. It's time
Go ahead.
for the question that everybody waits for the answer. You get to choose, JS, you get to choose from 2 decades. You don't get to fumble between the two of them. You have to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
And we've excluded the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah.
So you have to choose from either the 80s or the 90s.
Fucking 90s all day.
JS, I am not coming for ribs. Teasing.
Well, you knew
No, no.
after.
I knew right
We
away,
knew at
yeah.
the beginning. I mean, he was
Yeah,
talking about,
like the California punk scene is what made me who I am. Like the Fat Records, Epitaph Records,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like No Use for a Name,
Skank
like
Records.
the melodies, yeah. But like the
Skunk-
80s too. Like
Skank?
I like I was in
Skunk.
a glam rock band, so I do love the 80s. But like what influenced me more is the 90s,
Fair.
hands down. I love the 80s though. I can't say like I'm still some of the recording stuff and like how I mix my tracks is still very 80s influenced. But in general, yeah, I'm 90s all day.
Yeah, we tease, but we both love aspects of both. So
It's true. Very true.
we do.
So the
Don't
album.
get me started on like I won't know. I
No,
won't go
don't
there.
start. You're too late. I'm just kidding. The
90s.
90s, baby. Yeah, 90s. Do you like hip hop at all?
I actually do like hip hop.
90s hip hop?
Yes, in the sense I liked old hip hop because the beats I found were less aggressive. It was more like natural sounding, like sampled bass and stuff. I find like some of the newer bands now are kind of going back to that. One band that I like, I guess they're considered more metal. They're called Landmarks. They're from France, but the singer, like every time they do a lot of French hip hop, but like it's kind of like old school French hip hop, and it's really good. It reminds me of like a band called I Am and all those French rap bands or hip hop bands.
Yeah.
And they're really good, but they kind of do the blend of metal and the hip hop. But yeah, I like old school hip hop more. I don't like the new wave stuff.
Same.
Like it's
Same.
over auto tune and stuff. I like
Who's the
I'd say,
greatest
like-
of all time?
The goat.
of hip hop.
Yep.
Oh man, I don't know. That's a hard one. I'd like the Beastie Boys, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
greatest of all times. I don't know. I'm not the biggest hip hop fan, but I love the Beastie Boys. I like Ice Cube as well, and like Ice-T and all that stuff. Like West Side Connection, they were good. They're good as
Yes.
hell.
Yes.
So
all that stuff.
I guess maybe in that sense, I might be more of a West Coast kind of.
You are a West Coast
thing,
guy. Yeah.
So
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Vanilla Ice.
Oh, bro.
yeah, no.
No? Okay.
Big hit. I mean,
Yeah.
No, that was a crappy hit. Oh my
but,
God.
well, it was a big hit.
I like my favorite Vanilla Ice track is probably the one he did for Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Yes.
Go
Go
ninja,
Ninja,
go
go
ninja,
Ninja,
go.
go
Go
Ninja,
ninja,
go
go
Ninja.
ninja,
That
go.
was
Okay,
awesome.
that's great.
I had that
is
going
great.
on for my kids the other day really loud. It was like 8 a.m. and they were looking at me like, what is wrong with you, Dad?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why the hell are
exactly.
you blasting this shit music?
I can't wait till my kids are a little older.
Yeah.
It's like, this is so, I'm like, are you kidding me? This is like the greatest like Ninja Turtle track ever. They go on
Secret
stage
of the
and they start
Ooze, bro.
dancing and-
Secret of the Ooze. That
Yeah.
was the second one. That's right, buddy. We're the same age, basically.
Yeah.
I'm a little older. The GOAT for me is Ice Cube, so I like that he went there. And I also love Tribe Called Quest. They've always been.
Oh yeah,
And
they're
there's-
good. Yeah.
There's a few Beastie Boys and Tribe were good friends, so they had the couple songs together, which is always
Yeah.
nice.
I like
So this comes out next Monday, so we'll just say get
Well,
the
that-
album because it came out on Friday.
Yeah.
This
yes,
Friday.
yes.
We're speaking in the future now.
Yeah, the song comes out Friday. The single,
The song, no,
the single,
the single comes
The
out
single
Friday.
came out.
the album will be out
Yeah,
at the end of
the
the month.
album's
The
at the end
single
of the month.
came out last Friday.
Yes.
Last Friday.
Yes.
Yes. So the
Yes.
because it's this Friday, so it's going out Monday, right?
That's right.
Yes,
And
so
the
last Friday.
The album
Last
comes out
Friday.
on the 20.
On the 23rd, the album comes
Nice.
out.
Okay, beautiful.
But we already have it.
Yes.
Well,
But we won't tell anybody.
You do. You haven't
We
shared
can.
it. You haven't
Oh,
shared
I'm not
it.
sharing it with you.
Well, that's
yeah,
not
you
fair.
can share it. Yes.
See?
Yes. please
Maybe
share
I
it.
could.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fine, I will share it. Jeez.
JS, we love you, man. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thank you guys a lot.
hanging-
Appreciate it. And
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, thank you. If this show is a great platform for bands and like anybody in the area too. So they're
Thanks, man.
probably just as important as the bands themselves.
We're all going to blow up together.
That's it.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the goal, man.
Yeah,
It's a team thing, and it's all like it's community based podcasting. The fans too. We got great fans here, so
It's true.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We honestly do.
Thanks, JS. Stay with us just
Thank
a
you,
minute.
guys.
Thanks, buddy.
peace.
Stay.
Give me a D and a G. It's the Dawg and Gus Show. It's the Dawg and Gus Show.